I'll be like, I'm Adrian, I'm Alex, and I'm Robin. And then that's how we'll end. Gotta get that out first because we've done this for 53 episodes or 52 episodes. And we still are messing with the formula.
It's art. It's ever creating.
Yeah.
All right.
Acting is reacting.
Sorry. Yes. No, you're good. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Degrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Robin McCulloch. I'm a professional dungeon master and podcast host sometimes.
No. Sometimes. But like a lot of the time. Look, how do you define podcast host when honestly there's a lot of like behind the scenes? So like
that's fair. Well, I guess because in some cases I'm a host. Like I would consider myself a host for Starlight Ascension, but with other things I'm more like I just sort of am more like a like a fly on the wall. I just think I'm there to sort of like supervise.
I'm in the industry. I'm in the podcasting industry.
She knows things. All right. And yeah, it's been a while since I've done this.
It's been a minute.
I did one earlier with Dave, but I was trying to get everyone, but everyone backed down. But anyways.
Was it off the rails? Was it just you and Dave?
Yeah, it was just me and Dave. Just riffing.
Whiffing.
So, yeah, we've been whiffing. So tell us about you as a professional dungeon master. How did it start? Was it just I'm just a dungeon master for fun, and now, hey, let's go pro? Like how did that become?
Yeah, it's weird because it's like DMing really did. I mean, it's always been just a thing I've done for fun because the hardest part of getting a D&D group together is finding someone who is willing to run the dang thing. So, at some point, if you want to play bad enough, at some point you just decide, screw it, I'll run the game. And so did that for fun for many years. And then recently a game store here in town had this interview they posted on their Facebook page that was like, hey guys, we're starting up this like haunted hosted RPG session thing where we're going to have like ambient music and we want game masters to come and apply and run games for us for money. And I was like, hey, that sounds like a dream job. So I applied. They brought me in to interview. They asked me about what game systems I knew, what I'd be willing to run, if I wanted to run weekly campaigns or just one shots. And by the end of my interview, they were like, we actually want you to do both. So so far it's just been for the store, but that has created more opportunities because the store hosts the first like 6 games. And then after that, I'm allowed to keep the campaign together on everyone's own time. But which means after the 6 weeks, I get to charge my rates as opposed to the store's rate. So then everything goes up a little bit just so that I can keep renting the table. And because that's the point where it's no longer provided by the store.
Gotcha.
Get minis, provide fun things. Like we have an auction scene coming up, and I got like little ping pong paddles that I like painted white and drew auction numbers onto because only one of the party members made it to the auction because they snuck out. So I didn't want the other 3 people to just not have anything, so I'm going to hand them little character sheets and it's like, here's the person in the auction that you're playing, here's how much money you have to bid, and here's the item that you're really interested in, so that everyone can still be involved. Because I'm like, everyone paid money to be there, so it's like I don't want everyone to just be sitting there for 3 hours and be like, all right guys, great investment of your money and time. So anyway, that's the long answer.
Nice. No,
please describe the chair you sit in.
Oh yes, it's it looks very much like Castle Grayskull. It's just a giant like skull. I don't even know what it's made out of, but it's so cool. Built into the wall with these 2 torches sticking out of the sides of it, like the entrance to a cave in Skyrim. It's so cool. And it looks like it wouldn't be comfy, but they have like this memory foam like movie theater cushion in the chair that you just sink into. And I'm just, it's great. And then they have the big like wormwood gaming tables in there, so it's like I have no complaints. They really have all the amenities, and they have a cafe in there. It's just like, want to drink a coffee while you're DMing, or a hard cider, it's it's funny because I was talking to one of the other the store's actual like employees, like behind the counter, and he was like, it's kind of surreal because I got paid to say goblin professionally 6 times today, and I was like, that's really the dream. Like, that's really where we're at.
That's amazing. Some of my one of my friends, Jay Wynn, he was like, dude, you're using your time and like stuff to like DM for these people weekly. Like, you should get paid. And part of me is like, I understand that point of view, but I was always thinking like, I'm not good enough to get paid, or I'm not good. I'm like, I gotta work on myself and things like that. So I was never thought of it as like a paid gig at the first part, but I've always been interested in it and seeing other like people on TikTok like, hey, if you want to rent me as a DM and things like that. And I was just like, always kind of like, could I ever? What made you do that leap?
Well, for various reasons, it's incredibly hard for me to just exist in a 9-to-5 job. It's just that environment, no matter what no matter what the actual like work is, it's not an area in which I thrive or feel safe or comfortable in any way. And for the ways in which my brain is broken, it's hard to exist in that space. So I really wanted to find a way to make money off of something I love without trying to do so much of it that I burn myself out on it completely. And I think like there were a couple hobbies that I was like, okay, well, I could theoretically monetize this, but then I was like, but then I'd hate it, and I don't want to, But with DMing, I have the benefit of having D&D as like a hyperfixation, so I can do as much DMing, and then it's like by the end of it, I've already forgotten that I'm getting paid for it. Like I'm like, this is just a fun game I'm playing, and then at the end I get money, and I'm like, oh right, that's part of this, is now I'm actually receiving compensation for my time and for the effort I'm putting in. But it's like, on the note of like, I don't know if I'm good enough, imposter syndrome as a DM, or like feeling like you're not a DM enough DM, is really common in like this. I mean, it's common in general, but it's really common in this age where it's like you have so many DMs that are very much in the public eye, and people are like, oh, anything you do is going to be compared to their style. But honestly, like your style is going to be so right for your group as long as you're like listening to your players and responding to the ways that they like to play, and finding things that are interesting to them. Because like, honestly, like at that point, it's all about just listening, just being an active listener to your table. Because like, I come to the game store with half a page of an outline of the area in which they're around, and then notes on important NPCs. But my longest note page is just about the player characters, like the things they've done, the NPCs they've gotten invested to, their own relationships with each other, and that kind of stuff. Because I can take and spin into a 4-hour session way easier than any information out of a module that's like, like I started my first campaign for the store, I started with a module, and they crushed the entire thing in like 3 sessions. Because when you've got 4 hours that's like blocked for you to play, there's no like, okay, here's where we're going to stop because it's dramatic. It's like, okay, well, you guys can keep going because we have more time. And when you have a group of 6 people, that are all very into D&D, or, even our new players are so into the experience, and we're so excited to play. I don't know. Like, it's just like, it benefits you to play it like it's not D&D. In that, that's probably going to make like some rules lawyery people possibly kind of angry, but I don't mean that in like I don't mean that in like ignore the game mechanics, but I mean like D&D encourages putting the math and the rolls first, like just at the core, like in rules is written, like really put rolls first. But I really like the like powered by the apocalypse, like monster of the week approach to just letting the players riff, and then being like, okay, that sounds like a roll, give me that. And then putting player choice and player dialogue first, and then using the game to sort of like lift that up and put that on its and you know, like hold that up and be like, okay, cool. You know, this you've made this decision. Now let's see, you know, how fate dictates how this happens. And that's where the dice come in. You know, anyway, we're way off the original question at this point, but
hey, but yeah, this is a podcast. It happens all the time.
Short answer, it's I wanted to keep doing telling stories, but I still need to eat.
And there's nobody on this podcast that would complain about that. There's nobody in this podcast that'd be like,
we all love eating. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now I feel attacked because I will reveal my DM screen, and Robin and I work together on, Robin and I work on another podcast, Starlight Ascension. Go check it out. That's me self-plugging. But now I've sent Robin a bunch of stuff, just being like, oh, I think you should know this. Oh, I think this is what is happening behind my brain. And now I feel like you're going to use it all the time. And I don't know how much I trust you now at this point, because I'm just joking. But it's very, I don't know, it makes it more authentic, because in the story, the narrator would know everything if the narrator's omnipotent. And so that's going to play more of a compelling story, is the lack of better word that I have. It's going to play a more compelling story if you know what else you can pull from. And then that also means that you're not doing any work, because your players are doing the work, which is really what players should be doing, because to have to sit there and then think on the spot, I think requires some level of laying back later.
Yeah, I will say, like, any good DM, everything you say is a weapon that will be used against you. Like it's that is like a intrinsic part of the experience, is being like, oh, okay, this is important to you. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna take a note of that. This is gonna go in my special little box, and then, you know, I have the key for this, and now I'm gonna tuck that away, and I have that whenever I need it. So like, but like, that's the fun of it, you know. Like where's the entertainment? Where's the challenge for you as a DM in running? You know, there's nothing wrong with pre-made adventures, because they're there for beginners. They're there to learn. They're there to teach you the structure. But like, it's like, at that point, it's like reading a like choose your own adventure book to your friends, you know. Like, it's like, this is a story someone else wrote, and I am narrating it for you all. You know, in that case, you really are the narrator. But it's much more fun to just be a referee and let everything that the players say and do be what comes back and bites them in the ass later.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
It's like, oh, this wasn't me. You chose this. This was you said this many episodes ago, this many sessions ago, that this was something that you cared about. And so by narrative law, this now has to come back around and become something that we address later.
So this is also a good therapy tool for consequences of past actions coming in and not having fate or leaving the universe up to it, but literally leaving another human being up to your consequences, which, you know, all I'm saying is we need to get this therapy D&D going. Adrian.
Listen, I'm not licensed. I can't say anything until I'm licensed, okay? Every time I give out life advice, I'm like, okay, I know you know that I am a psychology major, but I am not a counselor. All right, that's my freaking little warning. Okay, let me tell you. Okay.
I'm not a doctor, but in my official medical experience of being a human on this earth.
I am not a doctor, but
I will say there is definitely there's an amount of players who are like, I don't want anything in my games to mirror things that I'm dealing with in real life, because I play games with escapism, and that's the whole. However, I know a lot of people that get a lot out of taking something in their character and then relating it to something that they're dealing with. And it's like, for instance, like in one of my games at the store, our barbarian just found a dragon egg, and it just hatched this last week. And so he has this little baby white dragon that he's been calling Little Varg, which his name is Varg, so he's calling it Little Varg. And he is like, it's him in real life is about to have his first baby in like 2 weeks. Like his wife's due in like 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, cool. So what if the egg hatched right now, like a week or two ago? And so I was like, so for the next couple weeks, he can play out this sort of new dad story while he's waiting to be a new dad. And every time I mention that little baby dragon and see the way that his face just completely lights up, like I'm like, that is like, that to me is why I DM, why I sit behind the screen, you know, as often as I do, because for as much as I love playing the game, there's nothing like laying down a track like that, watching a player follow it, and then seeing how rewarded they feel on their face at the end when they've gotten to the part that you were excited for them to get to. Like, that is unmatched to me.
Yeah, that full circle kind of thing, that like, it's not just that you made it for them, but you also listened to them. So it was like this thing that we both made and that we're taking part of, creating it and coming full circle. And that's a very important part, at least from my I guess DM ideal, is like, this isn't my game, this is our game. We're playing this together. Like, if you're not having fun, I'm not having fun, well, let's try to figure out how to make it fun again. Things like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
So I'm not calling you out because it sounds like you were a fantastic DM because you validate your players' voices. But what do you do if you do have issues in your campaign? Is really what I'm assuming that you've had issues. Is where I'm like, don't get mad at me.
Well, it depends on if you mean like in character issues or out of character, like issues with the players, issues with like campaign.
Player characters, like real players, people. Yeah,
real people. It depends on like the severity. Because if it's like this person means well, but maybe a little socially awkward, so they'll like I have a couple of older people in some of my groups who have been playing for a really long time, and so they have like a certain understanding of the rules that may not line up with my sort of rule of cool style of DMing. So at that point, it's just a gentle like, hey, like I understand, you know, this is the rules is written, but you know, I think we have new players in the game, and I don't think it benefits them to hold them to like this Bible of rules they haven't read, you know, because everyone paid to be here and everyone's here for fun, and that's ultimately what we're here for, is just to have a good time and play a game. But if it's something like someone says something to somebody that's like super inappropriate, then at that point it's like I have to bring game store management in, and like they don't give refunds out. So it's like that is a huge incentive for people to not be an asshole, because it says it right on the page. It's like, if you're like, you know, no improper behavior will be tolerated. If you say anything, you know, in the following brackets of horrible, you know, if you do anything that could be considered a hate crime, you know, you're gone. And it's a zero warning policy. Like, you're out and you don't get a refund, and that's it. So, you know, and it's not like cheap, you know, like it's not like $20. It's like, you know, it's upwards of like $100 for 6 sessions. So depending on, you know, the complicated, you know, ness of the game and the system, but that alone is enough of like a deterrent for people usually. So like, at least in live action, at least in games that I'm paid to DM for, I don't usually have those problems. In games where it's like I'm not being paid and are like my own personal at home games, like ones I've done where I've recruited people over Roll20 or whatever, just because I wanted to try out a new system, I'll just ban you. Like, if I'm not representing the store, and if it's not something that I'm paid to do, where they can leave a review on my store page on Start Playing Games, if it's not either of those two things, then I'm like, your opinion doesn't, like, if you're a horrible person and you say something horrible to one of my players, it's important to me that everyone feels safe here. So I'm just gonna remove you from the game and the server. Like, it's just, because like, why would you? This is this place is filled with so many underprivileged, like, marginalized individuals. The RPG space is where so many people come to feel welcome and home and, you know, like, safe. So why would you choose to fill it with that kind of nastiness and willingly use your time to make people uncomfortable? Like, I'm not going to welcome that kind of person at my table. I don't think a whole lot of other people are going to either. So at some point, you know, you're going to run out of tables to play at. And, you know, at that point, maybe maybe go to therapy or something.
Look inward.
Am I the problem?
It's not them. It's something else.
Yeah, maybe it's you. You know, if no one wants to play D&D with you, maybe it's not the other table's fault. You know.
Oh gosh.
I know for me in my journey right now in my healing, like even hearing somebody say it's important to hold your boundaries, even if you are playing for fun, and it is maybe people that you invited into your space, to not take it completely personal if somebody does something that you're like, whoa, bro, I didn't know we had that relationship where you felt comfortable to say that in my space. And I don't know what I've led to let you say that, but it's not tolerated anymore. And just like the no nonsense, because I know I'm willing to give about 1.5 million tries. Hashtag trauma. Adrian, I enjoy the face that you give me whenever I just like, meh. Okay. It's fine.
I'm not a counselor yet. I'm not ready.
Well, but I can also joke about, like, it's right now, I feel like I'm joking about a very past different person talking about holding boundaries, and like they are important, and hearing somebody say like, yeah, my boundaries are strong makes me also feel like, oh, like that's allowed. I can do that. And you know, even having that strength is contagious.
That's good. Like every time when someone says like, I feel like I'm talking about a different person, like you were definitely like, everybody's a different person from 3 months ago. Like we keep changing and learning new things all the time. Okay, like, man, that was young Adrian. That was yesterday. I know, I'm so much wiser. I'm never climbing that hill again.
You know the weirdest
thing?
It's
so funny you say that. I saw a memory on Facebook that was like, it was like 2016, and it was a post that I had made that was like, I would totally fight me from 3 years ago. You know, I'm such a different person now. And now me, you know, what, like 6 years after that, I'm like, shut up. Nobody cares. Like, I would fight you. You know what I mean? Like, that's so, like, it's so funny, the, like, you know, like the ways in which, like, our opinions of where we were at and the things that we were so gung-ho about very short time ago in the grand scheme of things. And you're just like, shut up. Like, you don't know anything yet. Like,
it's
note
always
to my
like
younger self, shut up. Stop talking.
It's that idea of just like, whenever I talk to like someone just kind of younger than me, and I'm like, look, I know I say it jokingly, but sometimes you'll get it when you're older, that idea. That's kind of real, okay? As much as you hate it, it's kind of real.
I had to remind my students this week that you don't start arguments with punching. Like, that had to be a conversation we had, because they were like, I'm just about to hit him. And I was like, that's not where we need to stop. We needed to stop behind. And they were like, what do you mean? We didn't say anything to each other. And I was like, yeah, but like, you built rapport with each other for a year now. You didn't just like wake up one day and you're like, I'm gonna punch this motherfucker.
I choose violence.
You like filled each other's banks, or you took them up and like made them feel unsafe. So it's wild. This new generation, I'm so excited for.
They gonna do something. We ain't ready.
You know, it's fine. They can't add sometimes, so are we really?
Give them a simple number problem, they done.
To be fair, I also can't do math, so
you play Dungeons and Dragons. There's a level of math that you can do.
Yeah, but like the computers can do it all for you now. I do as little math as I have to. Like, unless I really want to like feel the dice, which like I'll do if it's like a roll that's like I feel like I really want to like make everyone nervous. I'll like just because I want them to hear how many dice I'm rolling. I'll like actually physically shake them. But otherwise, I'll use Discord, you know, DiceBot or something. It's just.
I was what's it called? We were doing math in real life for our Dungeons and Dragons game like a week ago, and they were like adding the numbers wrong, and I was just like, I'm just gonna let that pass. I was just like, I know it doesn't benefit me, but man, I don't want to argue about math. Like, This is a lot. Someone corrected them later. I'm like, okay, cool, it wasn't me.
It's a hard skill, honestly. And then you have nervous because like there is some level of I should know this by now. So then those endorphins kick in and then hide your brain, and then it is a whole, I will give you the benefit of the doubt when you are on public display of having to do math. But then, it's fine. I can't read numbers. Does that help? Because I roll my dice online for us and I'm like, oh my God, that's a fucking 1 and it's a 7. And like, I just can't read them. So what's worse? The computer doing it, me not being able to translate it to my vocal cords? Or is it the actual math that you attempted?
Good question.
I don't know if I have an answer for that, honestly. I think they're both pretty bad, but honestly, not being able to read numbers as a D&D player, that is a pretty significant L.
I got a 2. Money? Oh, hey.
That is kind of fun. Like they're like at least on iPhone, like they have the option to select text and read basically anything out loud. So that's kind of fun. At least like technology is catching up to where accessibility needs to be. We're almost there.
Adrian, you play a lot of Roll20. Accessibility sounds like a really good place for you to also input. Do you agree?
What? Accessibility?
Yeah.
I mean, this is important. Sorry, where are you coming? Yeah, what are you trying to get me to say?
I just want you to throw your opinion on Roll20 because I know you do. What I'm thinking is you do a lot of Roll20, and you do have online. So there is a level of, I guess, if you've noticed a change because you pull strangers from the internet. If there's a change in seeing people maybe you wouldn't see in a game store.
Yeah, I wouldn't see people from California and Texas. I mean, there's that. There's people who just don't have time to go to a store, or like me, who doesn't have a store. I don't got no local play. I just have. I don't even think there's any kind of like we don't got any Target or Walmart or anything like that around here. I'm all the way out here in the sticks, kind of thing. So like having this ability to reach out to all these people across US, and even I have one player in Norway right now. So like I'm able to get a bunch of different perspectives and ideas and just a different kind of social class, to be honest, for some people who are just like shut-ins, but they live over here kind of thing. People who are afraid to kind of interact with those people in person have the ability to just like, I'm gonna mute myself, I'm gonna turn off my mic, my camera, things like that, so they can like, I need a breath. Sometimes you mean like for the most part, I like, hey, look, if you guys need to pause, just let me know. I've already kind of like that safety rule kind of done in person. Like, hey, just send me a message. You don't have to make it a big public thing. Just go for it, which I think is a nice benefit of just like online play. But I mean, I do miss in person. But yeah, is there any safety rules that you have at your table, Robin?
Yeah, I have a couple different ones that I like using just because, again, making sure, especially for playing with people who don't know each other, a great way to make sure that everyone feels comfortable role playing is making sure that everyone's on the same page about what things you're not gonna talk about. So the lines and veils system is huge. Just coming in immediately and being like, nobody has to tell me up front. If it's an online game, I'll do like a Google form so that people can just send me stuff anonymously. If it's in person, I'll have people either like text me or email me or slip me a note, but like things that it's like like veils are things that it's like, for people not familiar, veils are things that are, you can mention, but you don't want to focus on. So like any subject that you'd rather just like fade to black or, just sort of vaguely hint at without really spending any direct time on. And then lines are things that just absolutely no inclusion at all. And like it's interesting because there are things that you don't even think about, you know, that like you'll be like, as somebody who consumes a lot of D&D media and knows a lot of fantasy tropes or sci-fi tropes or whatever your preferred genre of TTRPG is, there are certain things that, again, you just don't think about might be upsetting to somebody. So it's good to just have people give you a list and then be like, okay, I can these, that way. It's like, honestly, it's like, it's not even that big of a challenge, because even with a bigger table, you know, you're going to have at most 50, you know, if with you know, on the high end, you know, maybe 50 or so things that you'll either have to like vaguely touch on or not include at all. That still leaves billions of things that exist regardless of setting. So it's like, it's not that big. And then that way everyone knows that they're not going to run into a situation that's going to make them suddenly uncomfortable. Like spiders is a really big one for a lot of people. Like I've had so many people put that under lines. Like I don't want mentions of spiders. I don't want to see them. I don't want to have descriptions of people that have spider-like features. You know, like it's like, and like I am 100%, like I understand. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a spider fan at all. I'm like I am with you guys. I feel you. So it's better to be respectful than to lose a player or make somebody feel scared or uncomfortable during a game that's supposed to be fun and relaxing for everybody. Maybe not relaxing all the time, but like at the very least, like a wind down activity, like an activity that is downtime activity, you know, not like, it's not supposed to be work, or you're not supposed to feel dread going to your D&D table, you know? Right. So Lines and Veils is a big one. I love the X card system, or X card or red card. Red can sometimes be easier because almost everyone has something red in their house that they can, if you're doing online games anyway. At my table, I'll usually just pass everyone a card that I've drawn an X on. But it's for the X card system, it's at any point, if we've touched on anything that you're just like, nope, just, you know, you throw your X card down. We don't question anything. We don't ask questions. There's no, well, why is this? It's just, let's move on. You know, let's back up or move on or switch scenes or whatever we need to do. And then I think, yeah, no, that's it. Those are my two big ones at my table. Well, and then an open table policy is also really good. Like just saying that at any point you can get up and leave, you know, you can leave, you know, if you need to leave and come back. If anything's, you know, too intense, you can step away or ask me to pause the game so everyone can take a break. You know, like I want there to be open dialogue. I want everyone to feel comfortable, not only just talking to me, but to their fellow players about their boundaries and where they're comfortable and where they're not comfortable. So having that like open table communication policy, and having that, like, all of these things expressed from the beginning, like session 0, you should lay out, here are all of our safety tools. I have a 0 tolerance policy for people making other people uncomfortable, and that should just be the end of that, you know. And that just that alone, you'll be surprised how many people will really come out of their shell knowing that they're safe at your table.
Yeah, it's always important. I think it's something that I didn't start off with in my games at first, but it was something that I did address like later on, like, hey, this game might get intense. Let me know at any point. Shoot me a message, because it's important to make sure that this fun thing isn't traumatizing. Like, we have to live in the real world. This doesn't have to be bad. This can be fun, like terrifying and fun, or like intense and fun, but like we're not trying to go with bad and any other adjective.
And that's a good, healthy relationship in general, just being able to have those open lines of communication. Because I know at tables, I have felt uncomfortable, but it was never to the point that I need to remove myself. But being aware that if it got to a point that I needed to remove myself, that everybody at the table understood that it would be okay. Like, and I think that's part of the anxiety of also playing in front of other people, that sometimes you are going to get emotional stories. Sometimes it's going to hit a little close to home, and where you are in your journey is going to play a factor. So if you are like, oh, that hits close, but like, let's play this. Maybe there's something else I can learn. Maybe there's something else that's okay. Whereas, you know, feeling safe enough to be like, oh, this is where that went. No, thank you. Let me excuse myself because I feel like maybe it just applies to me. Let me say something to my DM because I feel like it's important enough to me for everybody to stop and for us to have a conversation. And that, once again, goes back to adding your player voice to the table. That is always a good idea.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
All right. I don't know. It's been a while since we talked about it, and I want to talk. Tell me about the podcast.
Robin, do you want to tell about the podcast, or do you? I think you should intro it, and I've talked about it.
Yeah, I'll give it a little promo. We have acquired quite a backlog while we've been working on getting stuff edited, and ready to actually post. But we're seven episodes ish in, and about to start recording a bunch of one shots for the Patreons. That's fun and exciting. But anyway, Tales From is a narrative first actual play podcast where it's Alex and a couple other people, and if you want to know the cast, go check it out. And that'll a couple of, it's not like there's any huge surprises in there, but but they will be new to you. So
yes.
But we are using 5th edition, but it's a science fantasy podcast set in a homebrew universe. It is about light and love and heroes and destiny and responsibility and meal cubes. So if that doesn't sound already convincing enough, we also have such lovely things such as dragons made of lightning and evil robots and rockets and some really cool AI and some Voltron type shit. It's cool. It's a lot of fun, and I genuinely enjoy every episode that we make. So that's my pitch.
I ditto everything that Robin said, because it is an experience, at least for me on the player side, of pushing my character play into something that I've never done in my life. Not even in theater, not even like in theater class or with loved one. Like it's just a moment for me to open up with my colleagues. It's just a blast, and to live in a world that, I don't know, feels forgotten, right? Voltron feels like it was 1,000 years ago for us in our childhood, right? And you thinking, and then pulling up all the other Toonami stuff, right? It's just, it feels like a lot of nostalgia, but like in an adult format. And Robin does this fantastic storytelling job. So if you are tired of my voice, you can just mute me and then like every 5 seconds come back for Robin, because Robin has a beautiful story in there, even though I think she's trying to play off that she's integrating her characters. No, it's it's Robin's story.
Wow. Wow. Called out.
Is that a backhanded compliment? Is that what that's called?
I think, yeah, it's like Robin's so good at railroading us. It's honestly impressive how little agency we have. I literally
you're right.
Started off session 1 giving you guys 3 separate options for what you wanted your very first adventure to be. So I wanted to set the tone early that like this galaxy was y'all's to explore, and the information I gave you guys was yours to act on. So I'm trying to hold to that. Sometimes I'll maybe encourage something because I get really zealous about just you guys in your characters, and I want to see you guys interact with more of the world. And it's hard as a DM not, and this goes for campaigns that aren't streams too. It's hard not to get ahead of yourself and to be like, oh, well, I have all this because of these things that I know about my characters. I know that these potential things hanging in the air, if we ever touch on them, will be really cool. So then when you guys are like getting close to something, it's like it takes every fiber of my being not to be like, it's right there, it's right there. Like it's, you got it, you're right there. So but it's, that's the fun though of, and I know whatever, but that is the fun of leaning on your players' decisions to a degree, because whatever I know about the universe at large, I'm like, I have my Bible of truths, is sort of like my approach to DMing is like, here are just things about the world that are true, regardless of whether or not the players interact with them. And then those things will always continue moving regardless of what you guys are doing. And it's like, if you guys touch on that stuff, great. If not, then I will write new truths about the things you do touch on. It's like, we had that whole adventure on the, I'm not going to spoil anything on here because go listen to the podcast, but we have the whole adventure on the island. And so much of that was just me on the fly going, especially near the back end, because you rolled so well so many times in a row to get so much information that I wasn't expecting you guys to have. So I was like, okay, now I have to it was like on the fly, like, let me create this this little climax for you guys to come and to go and deal with. So it's the most fun sort of improv. I've never taken an improv class, and I never would. I do genuinely believe that is a cult, and if you've done improv, if you've done your time and your rounds and put in your work and gotten to that point where that was what, and if that was a genuinely great experience for you, I'm so happy for you. I'm not dunking on you at all. I personally would never. I would get too addicted to feeling lightly praised for anything that I did and then I would just be crushed when I went out into the world and nobody thought I was funny. So I can't put myself into that kind of an environment. Improv's not for me,
I won't allow it.
Playing D&D for a really long time, I feel like, has given me the tools that, and then doing acting and voice acting especially, I feel like prepared me for doing podcast D&D, because trying to get emotion across without people being able to see your face is its own skill. And a lot of that goes into making the world feel full and lived in, and like you said, like forgotten, like it has its own personality. Like all these places that you guys have been to have this air of like, this place was abandoned, like no one who lives here is choosing to, these are the people who couldn't leave, so I have a great time. I love creating that show, and it's passion project doesn't even begin to describe Tales From. That's my baby.
And it is
our baby.
No, look, I just like wet nurse, like that's my contribution to this. Like, you did all the carrying and the labor and the putting things together, and I am very honored to be a part of it, and at no point have ever felt railroaded by my DM. I have felt railroaded by my players because they didn't agree with my opinion, and that's an issue, but that is why they're my colleagues and not necessarily
This is some shade that's coming out here.
All right, you got like 3 weeks to figure out how you're gonna cover this up, Alex.
You know what? Come at me.
You.
Come.
I will say, you have this way of turning, maybe not having the opportunity to talk all the time, into a character decision, like you make it seem in character to be not given, always. And that I just attribute to people being very nervous and very excited to be their first time on any sort of radio play. So my patience with it is high, but I understand what you mean and where you're coming from, for sure. I feel there was during that this is some behind the table talk that might need to get cut. We'll see. I actually, during that talk back, was totally reading a webcomic for like 15 minutes because I would check back in and be like, oh, they're still talking about this? Okay, I'm just gonna, and then I was just, it was a really good webcomic, like, to be fair.
Sometimes,
and nothing,
you just
it's not personal. It's just I can't pay attention for that long. My brain doesn't. I'm not medicated. Like, I can't do that. I literally cannot do that.
Why do you think when I play, I've got a notebook in front of me? Yeah, it fits the character. Like, oh yeah, this bitch would be taking notes. But it is like doodles. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I should do that later. And like.
I still want to know what your prediction was for, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if it ever does come true.
I know it'll happen. Like, I know we'll find out what I'm thinking, but I don't want to give you that. I don't want to give you the satisfaction of like, I'm confirming what you already have done or what you're already thinking. Or I don't want you to have the satisfaction of, oh, this bitch is real wrong and we're going to show her.
Okay. So you just don't want me to know at all.
I don't, yeah, there's two sides of that.
Okay.
No.
I respect that. That's fair. I will weaponize it if you tell me. So.
And through this podcast, I have been confirmed.
But like, it makes me more excited. That makes me just like even more excited for future seasons and the one shots. And because if you guys have on your basically your first try, we won't talk about the false starts, but basically your first try, if you guys have managed to create believable characters that have interactions with each other that feel like they naturally progress based on the personalities everyone has, like the conversation between you and Ben about Destiny in like 2 episodes ago, that really felt like a natural progression of the clashing of their ideologies over the course of the couple of arcs that you guys have been through already. So like I can't wait to take y'all's brains and then see how they operate in different characters and other settings and other worlds. And just I love my table. Y'all are great. Y'all are great role players and great at the aspect of like the radio aspect of it, making things sound good and believable and interesting. And I'm a lucky DM.
We are lucky players to have you. I would also just like to note that I did pull from my short stint playing in the Shadow with Michael as the Shadow, and
nice
having 4 lines and having to sit there for an hour, and only there to be the dumb hoe. So I'm channeling that rage that the dumb hoe may feel into a very, I wouldn't say she's not grumpy. She's just very stoic.
We'll say curmudgeonly.
Yeah, but not like an old curmudgeon, like a young, like a curmudgeon that like makes no sense. Just
it's being jaded by capitalism. It'll turn anyone into a curmudgeon.
You're right.
All my homies hate capitalism.
So Adrian, we're hitting 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep going? How you feel? What'd you feel?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, hey, look, this is how you feel probably, right? Whenever I overtake the podcast.
I will admit, so I was thinking about this while y'all were talking about being on a podcast and feeling very much imposter syndrome in the entire time, and also learning about how my brain works within this world. You know, I have a lot of rapport with Adrian. I have a lot of rapport with Robin. Y'all are both safe spaces for me that I've previously established. So like, that's why I'm on fire right now. But I mean,
the fever.
Aside from the 100 fever I have right now because this world is destroying me, it's okay. It's okay to try new things and be awkward is really the lesson I'm trying to convey to you, dear listener. It's okay to feel awkward. It's okay to feel like an imposter in a place that you have been invited. But you've been invited, so there's some level of identity that you do have and you hold that other people recognize. So even if you don't recognize what you bring to the world, positive, negative, whatever, I'm mostly gearing towards positive because that's what we struggle with. It's okay. It's okay to be weird. It's okay to be awkward. And like living your truth is fine. And you will find your people and you will find the places you need to be. And having open and honest conversations alleviates a fuck ton of anxiety that you may have.
Yeah. And I think that we will eventually kind of, I mean, I feel like we'll come to accept the things we are, but then we'll also give ourselves that next hurdle to go to. So like, yeah, I'm a much better DM or player, or I know the rules than I was before. but now I feel like I need to be more. I need to do more, but that's okay. Okay, but also accept that you have accomplished something, that you haven't just like, I'm still not good enough, but you're better, and that's something. And it's hard to accept when you see all these people on like Critical Role or D20. Like, oh no, I want to be like this. I want to be like, be yourself, dude. Y'all need to know that they do certain things for X amount of years, and we're just playing a game for fun. As long as you're having fun with this thing, then you're doing what you want to do.
I was just gonna say, like, you're 100% right, but the problem with comparing yourself to other DMs is like you're not playing for that table. You're not DMing for that group of people. So like you don't have to be that DM. That DM has attuned their style to their friends and their preferred style of play. And your friends don't want that. They want you to be you. They don't want you to come in and suddenly be acting like Matt Mercer. They're going to be really weirded out. If you come in and suddenly you are doing things you've never done before because you're people are going to be like, are you okay? You know, like, do you need a glass of water? Do we need to take 5? You know, like just be yourself, because that's what, if people have already agreed to play D&D with you, chances are, you know, they want to see what you want to bring to the table. And honestly, the way that I get around just for the podcast, just like to get myself out of bed to actually start recording and not be completely consumed by imposter syndrome, I'll flip it around. It's like, yeah, but also, you know, Brennan Lee Mulligan isn't me. You know, like there's like there are things that I can bring based on my unique experiences and the combination of influences that I have that only I will provide for only my table. And that's something really special and unique that every DM and every table has, no matter who you are. If you've never DM'd before, you still have something that no other DM, including the ones that you think you'll never match up to, can bring to the table. You have something inside of you that is special and different and you. And that is enough for your players.
Throwing the money.
Yeah, and people, I mean, they're like, "Hey, who do you look up to?" I'm like,
myself.
I know, dude. Like, I'm gonna be DMing for them. Okay, that's my goal. Like, that's where I'm gonna aim. Higher than whatever you see right now. That's what I want to do. Okay, I want to play games.
I'm not going to say I don't have people, you know, on a dream list from those shows because I ever had a guest on the show here, but it's not who you'd expect. It's never the people who are like the top, like the fan. I'm about the niche, the niche players that I'm like, you know, like that's my bag. So I'm not going to name names because that's real pick me, and I'm not about that. But
also pick me.
If it happens, it happens. It won't be because I begged on another podcast.
I don't know. We got some connections. Ooh. Do we? Sometimes I'm happy we don't actually like screen record, because I think it would be a whole different experience where we sound like we're like maybe mature and maybe we've got our life together, but like half of it is just making faces at each other.
Z shit.
Yeah.
Cringy ass Gen Z stuff.
They can fucking look. I'm gonna die on this hill.
Go.
Gen Z can fucking take the laughing squinty-eyed emoji with the eyes popping out of my cold, dead fucking hands.
Yep.
That's the biggest boomer move I'm gonna make in my life, and I'm confident that that's it. They're gonna fucking take it.
Okay, on Alex's note, I'm very grateful that we don't screen record that or Twitch stream for the podcast, or for any of our properties, because like I fully am always eating or something on camera, and I'm like, no one's gonna, because I can mute my mic, you know. I have the Yeti is it has a built-in mute button, so I can mute this and nothing records in Audacity, so I can just sit here and eat and like drink out of an icy glass into my microphone and it doesn't matter. But if we were Twitch streaming, holy crap, I'd just be sitting here with a mouthful of like a meatball sub or something, and it'd just be unseemly. So no, thank you.
On the other podcast, I mute myself in the Discord, but I forget that I'm recording locally. So Henry, he's always like, Adrian, you gotta stop eating. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then there was this like one episode where everyone was like burping, and Henry's like, I'm done with y'all. Y'all can edit yourselves. Henry, you're great, by the way. The troubles of recording.
But podcasting is great because you get to have weird conversations, and you build connections with people that you would never thought you would have. So once again, if you are planning on or thinking about podcast, just fucking do it. Somebody tried to fucking attack me for recording on my goddamn iPhone the beginning episodes. You can come for me as well because we are doing art, and now we have upgraded, and we will upgrade in the future.
Yeah, it's a process. You gotta see if you're investing in this or if it's just like, maybe I want to do this. Like, we ain't gonna drop $100 and $200 on this thing if we don't know.
I will admit that
sometimes I do that.
Oh well, yeah, but
yeah, not the financial safe move, but I do it.
The best financial move I have ever made, and if you are looking at doing some sort of something on the social medias or flyering or literally anything, is fucking Canva. Canva is my jam. I have been paying for it the entire time. Now that I get it free for being a teacher, I'm still paying for it because they're once again gonna pull that out of my cold dead hands, and it has come in handy more often than not, which is wild. Because I don't feel like I do. Besides the podcast, I don't feel like my day-to-day life requires me to have like images or filters or things. But look, the $12 a month is worth it if you're thinking about it. That's what I'm saying. Also, Canva sponsor us.
Yeah, I was about to add that. Canva sponsor us. All right. We're about to hit them. Do you have any questions, Robin?
No. I don't have any questions. You guys are great. You guys are great to talk to. This was fun.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, and I guess once more, plug what you got.
Go listen to Tales from the Starlight Ascension. We may still only have one episode out by the time this comes out, but there will be more coming out soon. They're in the process of being edited now. We got over a long period of technical difficulty. Also, go listen to the audio drama that I write and direct and did all the casting and everything for, Uncle Pancake, available wherever you podcast as well. That is my little baby boy. That is my brainchild.
Heck yes. All right, you got it.
Oh, I thought I had it written down. I do not have it written down.
I'll be real. I did it the other day. And I'm like, oh man, I am so underprepared. It's so bad.
It's hard. I should honestly write it down because I do feel like I always forget something. And whenever we stop recording, I'm like, fuck, I should have added. Or if I listen to another podcast, I'm like, oh, I should add that in. Nah, fuck it. You get us in our art form and maybe the beta form. Is that how that works? I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. I want to say raw, but I didn't like that. And that's why we have the explicit tag.
Because Alex said motherfucker like 3 times.
And Adrian said raw.
That's true. I'm going to throw that idea right out of my brain. It's got to go. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us for another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. Find us on social medias. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find us on our Patreon, which we will be kicking back here soon. So if you want all sorts of special things coming your way, help us support our addiction of growing and talking about Dungeons and Dragons and making this a whole personality type. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Robin.
Go have some fun.